Welcome to our exploration of Environmental Studies Part 4, focusing on social issues and environment. Let's preview what we'll be covering in this module. We'll explore 10 essential topics, ranging from sustainable development to environmental impact assessment. Sustainable development is an approach to meet our current needs without compromising future generations' ability to meet theirs. It's all about balancing economic growth, environmental protection, and social well-being. Let's look deeper into the origins, goals, and principles that define this essential concept. The term sustainable development gained popularity with the 1987 Brundtland Report. This report defined it as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. This concept emerged from concerns about environmental degradation, economic inequality, and social injustice caused by industrialization and modernization. Sustainable development is built on several principles that act as guidelines. First, we have intergenerational equity, meaning we need to think about future generations and make sure our actions today don't harm their chances. Environmental protection emphasizes preserving ecosystems, reducing pollution, and using resources wisely. Social equity and inclusion ensures everyone has fair access to resources and that communities are treated equally. Economic efficiency is about using resources in a way that supports long-term stability. Finally, the precautionary principle means we should be cautious when making decisions that could have serious environmental impacts. These principles guide policies and practices to help us achieve balance. In 2015, the United Nations introduced 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, which aim to create a sustainable future by 2030. These goals cover a range of issues like ending poverty, eradicating hunger, ensuring good health, and quality education. For example, Goal 1, No Poverty, aims to eradicate extreme poverty worldwide, and Goal 2, Zero Hunger, focuses on food security. Some other goals, like clean water and sanitation and affordable and clean energy, aim to make essential resources accessible to everyone. Finally, climate action is about reducing greenhouse gases and protecting our planet from climate change. The SDGs recognize that these issues are interconnected. Solving one often helps solve others. To actually reach these goals, we need strategies. One major strategy is environmental conservation, promoting renewable energy like solar or wind to cut down on greenhouse gases. We also focus on reducing waste and protecting biodiversity. Another key strategy is responsible consumption and production. This means encouraging people to buy only what they need, recycle, and reuse products whenever possible. It also involves creating policies that require companies to adopt sustainable practices. Think about how much waste we produce and how that impacts our planet. By being more mindful, we can make a big difference. Other important strategies involve community engagement and public awareness. Educating people about conservation, recycling, and reducing energy use is crucial. Community projects like planting trees or cleaning up rivers are ways people can help. Another key area is sustainable urban development, designing cities with eco-friendly infrastructure, more green spaces, and efficient public transportation systems. This helps cities become more livable and reduces pollution. Finally, investing in green technology and innovation is critical. Developing technologies like electric cars, sustainable farming techniques, and cleaner production methods will help us meet our sustainability goals. Despite having these strategies, achieving sustainable development isn't easy. Some major challenges include economic disparities. Rich countries often have more resources to go green than poorer nations, creating inequalities. Population growth is another issue. As the population grows, so does the demand for resources, which can lead to overexploitation. Climate change complicates things further because rising temperatures impact agriculture, ecosystems, and even human health. We also need strong political will and global cooperation since sustainable development requires countries and companies to work together, and that's not always easy. Lastly, many regions are heavily dependent on non-renewable resources, making it hard to transition to greener practices. To end on a hopeful note, let's look at some real-world examples of sustainable development in action. Countries like Germany and Costa Rica have invested heavily in renewable energy, reducing their reliance on fossil fuels. In sustainable agriculture, practices like crop rotation and organic farming help protect soil and reduce chemical use. Waste management is another area where countries like Sweden excel. They've even developed waste-to-energy systems that turn trash into energy. And lastly, cities like Amsterdam have introduced eco-friendly infrastructure with green buildings, electric public transport, and bike-sharing programs. These examples show that sustainability is possible with the right commitment and innovation. Urban areas face unique challenges when it comes to energy. Cities have high populations and lots of infrastructure, meaning they need vast amounts of energy for everyday activities like heating, lighting, and transportation. This demand leads to overconsumption, where cities use more energy than necessary, contributing to pollution and resource depletion. Cities also depend on non-renewable resources, like coal and oil, which add greenhouse gases to the atmosphere and worsen climate change. And because of this reliance on fossil fuels, urban areas suffer from pollution, which can lead to respiratory issues and other health problems for residents. Urban energy issues are big, but solutions are within reach. Energy inefficiency is another problem in cities. Many older buildings aren't designed to conserve energy, meaning they need more heating or cooling than newer, energy-efficient buildings. Retrofitting old buildings with efficient systems is possible but costly. There's also the issue of public transportation. Cities that lack good transit options rely on private vehicles, which increases fuel consumption and pollution. Lastly, energy distribution losses happen when electricity is lost as it travels through aging infrastructure. This adds extra strain on the energy system. Addressing these issues is key to creating energy-efficient cities. So, what can cities do to tackle these energy challenges? One major solution is renewable energy integration, adding solar panels on rooftops, setting up wind turbines in urban spaces, and encouraging investment in renewable sources. This reduces the need for fossil fuels. Energy-efficient building codes can also help. Cities can adopt green standards for new buildings and retrofit older ones with better insulation, energy-saving lighting, and more efficient windows. Developing smart grids is another solution. These advanced grids use real-time data to monitor energy use and reduce waste. With smart meters, residents can even track their own energy use, helping them make better choices. Transportation is another key area where cities can make a big impact. Expanding and improving public transport systems, like electric buses and subways, can reduce car reliance and lower fuel consumption. Promoting bike lanes, walkable areas, and incentives for electric cars also help. Urban planning plays a big role here. Creating compact, mixed-use neighborhoods with nearby facilities reduces the need for travel. Adding green spaces and green roofs also helps moderate city temperatures, reducing the need for air conditioning. Together, these solutions can help cities use energy more sustainably. Water conservation is the management of water resources to prevent depletion and ensure there's enough for future generations. This is especially important in urban areas, where populations are growing fast and pollution and climate change affect water availability. Water is essential for everything, from drinking and farming to industry and energy. So, conserving water means using it wisely, recycling where possible, and protecting the quality of the water we do have. Let's talk about why water conservation is so important. Fresh water makes up less than 1% of all water on Earth and is a limited resource. By conserving water, we help prevent shortages and make sure there's enough to go around. Reducing water use also benefits ecosystems, keeping rivers and lakes healthy. Conserving water reduces pollution because less water needs treatment and transport, which saves energy and cuts down on emissions. In other words, saving water also means saving the planet. There are several effective methods for conserving water. Rainwater harvesting is one. This involves collecting rainwater from roofs and storing it. The stored water can be used for things like watering plants or flushing toilets, reducing demand on city supplies. Another method is efficient irrigation. In agriculture, techniques like drip irrigation and sprinkler systems ensure that plants get water directly, with less waste. Using treated wastewater for parks and green spaces in cities can also save fresh water. We can conserve water in our homes too. Water-efficient appliances like low-flow faucets, shower heads, and dual-flush toilets save water without reducing effectiveness. Wastewater recycling and reuse is another strategy. After treating wastewater, it can be reused for things like industrial cooling or landscaping. Fixing leaks is also essential. Even a small leak can waste a significant amount of water over time, so maintaining plumbing in homes and cities helps prevent unnecessary waste. An important part of water conservation is educating the public on how to save water. For example, taking shorter showers, turning off taps while brushing teeth, or using a broom instead of water to clean driveways are small changes that add up. Community workshops and campaigns can raise awareness about these practices. Schools and local organizations play a huge role in promoting water-saving habits that can make a big impact if everyone participates. Water conservation comes with multiple benefits. For one, it helps households and businesses save on water bills, which is an economic advantage. Conservation also protects the environment by minimizing pollution from wastewater. By using less water, we reduce the energy needed for water treatment and transport, which helps cut down greenhouse gas emissions. Ultimately, conserving water is about ensuring we have enough clean water for both people and nature in the future. It's a simple action that leads to sustainability on many levels. Wasteland reclamation is all about restoring land that has become unproductive due to issues like erosion, overuse, or pollution. Reclaiming these lands makes them useful again and can help improve biodiversity, create livelihoods, and reduce soil erosion. It's an important step in both conserving land resources and supporting local communities. The main goals of wasteland reclamation are to bring back ecological balance, prevent further land degradation, and create productive land that benefits both people and nature. By improving soil quality and water retention, reclaimed lands can become suitable for agriculture or natural habitats. Once again, there are two main types of wasteland: cultivable waste, which includes land that could be farmed with some treatment, and uncultivable waste, which is severely degraded land requiring significant efforts to restore. Understanding these types helps us determine the best strategies for reclaiming each area. One key method of reclaiming wasteland is afforestation, planting trees to stabilize the soil and improve water retention. Trees help prevent erosion and restore natural ecosystems. Another method is adding organic matter like compost or manure, which enriches the soil with nutrients. Additional methods include contour-plowing and terracing for sloped lands, which helps reduce erosion and water loss. In dry regions, creating small ponds or check dams can help store rainwater, which improves water availability and supports vegetation growth in these reclaimed areas. Resettlement and rehabilitation, or R&R, focus on supporting communities displaced by large projects, such as dams or highways. The goal is to help affected individuals with fair compensation, housing, and new livelihood opportunities, allowing them to rebuild their lives with dignity. R&R is necessary because many development projects force people to leave their homes, affecting their livelihoods and cultural ties. By providing fair compensation, new homes, and job support, R&R programs aim to minimize the hardships these communities face. Key elements of R&R include land acquisition, fair compensation, livelihood restoration, and community involvement in decision-making. These steps ensure that displaced people receive the support they need to transition into new environments successfully. The main steps in the rehabilitation process are relocation, providing new housing and basic services, economic rehabilitation, offering job training or support for self-employment, and social restoration, helping communities rebuild their social and cultural ties in new locations. Challenges in R&R include resistance from affected communities, legal disputes over compensation, and the economic displacement that disrupts traditional livelihoods. Additionally, moving people to new areas can strain local resources and put pressure on the environment. Let's look at two well-known R&R case studies. In India, the Narmada Dam project led to significant displacement, sparking resistance and legal battles over compensation. In China, the Three Gorges Dam displaced millions, with efforts to provide new housing, though challenges around restoring livelihoods remained. These cases show the complexity of balancing development with fair treatment of displaced communities, highlighting the need for careful planning and support. Climate change refers to long-term shifts in Earth's climate, primarily driven by human activities like burning fossil fuels and deforestation. These activities release greenhouse gases, trapping heat and raising global temperatures. This change affects weather patterns, ecosystems, and even human health, creating challenges for sustainability worldwide. The main causes of climate change include greenhouse gas emissions from burning fossil fuels, agriculture, deforestation, and certain industrial processes. For example, carbon dioxide and methane are two major contributors from transportation, energy production, and farming. These gases build up in the atmosphere, enhancing the greenhouse effect and warming the planet over time. Climate change leads to rising global temperatures, melting glaciers, and rising sea levels, which pose risks to coastal cities. It also results in more extreme weather events, such as storms, droughts, and floods, impacting agriculture and biodiversity. This puts pressure on both human communities and ecosystems, making adaptation and mitigation critical. To address climate change, mitigation strategies focus on reducing greenhouse gas emissions and promoting sustainable practices. These include switching to renewable energy like solar or wind, increasing energy efficiency in industries and buildings, and carbon sequestration, storing carbon to prevent it from entering the atmosphere. Planting trees and implementing policies like the Paris Agreement also help in reducing climate impact. Nuclear accidents involve the release of radiation due to failures in nuclear plants, which can harm people and ecosystems. These accidents are rare, but can have severe consequences, as seen in events like Chernobyl and Fukushima. Understanding causes, impacts, and preventive measures is crucial to reducing risks in nuclear energy. Nuclear accidents can result from mechanical failures, human error, natural disasters like earthquakes, or poor maintenance. For instance, the Fukushima accident was triggered by a tsunami following an earthquake. Each of these factors highlights the importance of safety protocols and reliable technology in nuclear facilities. Some of the most notable nuclear accidents include the Chernobyl disaster in 1986, which led to widespread radiation exposure, and Fukushima Daiichi in 2011, caused by a tsunami. There's also the 3 Mile Island accident in the U.S., where a partial meltdown released radioactive gases, spurring stronger safety regulations in nuclear energy. Nuclear accidents have serious health impacts, including radiation sickness and an increased risk of cancer. Environmental contamination affects water, soil, and wildlife, with some areas becoming uninhabitable for decades. The economic and social costs are also high, including expensive cleanup efforts and community displacement. Preventing nuclear accidents involves strict safety protocols, advanced technology, and emergency preparedness plans. Generation 4 reactors incorporate passive safety features, which help prevent meltdowns. International cooperation, such as guidelines from the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, also promotes improved safety standards globally. Consumerism encourages high consumption of goods and services, which can strain natural resources and lead to excessive waste. While it supports economic growth, consumerism often results in waste products like plastic, electronic, and food waste, contributing to environmental pollution and resource depletion. Balancing consumer habits with sustainability is crucial to reducing this impact. Consumerism's environmental impact includes resource depletion from mining, logging, and fossil fuel extraction, waste production from disposable products, and energy use in manufacturing and transporting goods. This chain of activities contributes to pollution and climate change, making it essential to adopt more sustainable consumption practices. There are several types of waste associated with consumerism. Plastic waste is particularly persistent, often ending up in oceans. Electronic waste from discarded gadgets contains toxic materials, while textile waste from fast fashion creates landfill overload. Food waste releases methane, a potent greenhouse gas. Managing these waste types responsibly is essential for environmental health. To manage waste, we can follow the reduce, reuse, recycle approach, which minimizes demand for new resources. A circular economy focuses on reusing and repairing products instead of disposing of them. Policies like extended producer responsibility, EPR, make producers accountable for their product's life cycle, from creation to disposal, encouraging sustainable design and waste reduction. Environmental laws are designed to protect ecosystems by regulating human activities. These laws cover pollution control, resource management, and biodiversity conservation, providing guidelines and penalties to ensure sustainable practices. Such laws are crucial for reducing pollution, managing waste, and conserving natural resources for future generations. Some important environmental laws include the Clean Air Act, which limits air pollutants to reduce smog and acid rain, and the Clean Water Act, which sets water quality standards. The Resource Conservation and Recovery Act governs waste disposal, while the Endangered Species Act protects threatened plants and animals. Each of these laws plays a part in promoting a healthier environment. Environmental challenges often require global solutions. Treaties like the Paris Agreement aim to reduce greenhouse gas emissions worldwide, while the Montreal Protocol focuses on phasing out substances that harm the ozone layer. The Convention on Biological Diversity promotes biodiversity conservation, and the Basel Convention controls hazardous waste movement across borders. These agreements unite nations in environmental protection. To enforce environmental laws, agencies like the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, monitor compliance, and impose penalties for violations. Corporate social responsibility, CSR, encourages businesses to adopt eco-friendly practices, while public awareness and activism play essential roles in pushing for stronger protections and compliance. Together, these efforts help laws make a real impact. Laws regulating pollution, forests, and wildlife aim to protect natural resources and biodiversity. Pollution control laws set standards for air, water, and soil quality, while forest conservation laws protect against deforestation. Wildlife conservation laws focus on safeguarding endangered species and their habitats, preserving biodiversity for the future. Specific laws like the Air, Prevention and Control of Pollution Act regulate emissions to protect air quality, while the Water, Prevention and Control of Pollution Act manages water pollution. The Environment Protection Act serves as an umbrella law that addresses air, water, and noise pollution, empowering authorities to enforce pollution control and conduct impact assessments for major projects. These rules set noise limits for different zones, such as residential, industrial, and silence areas. Noise pollution, often overlooked, affects human health by causing stress and sleep disturbances. These regulations help reduce harmful noise levels, especially in densely populated urban areas, contributing to a healthier environment. Forest laws are vital for managing and protecting forests. The Indian Forest Act categorizes forests into reserved, protected, and village forests, each with specific rules on usage and conservation. The Forest Conservation Act ensures that forest land is not converted to non-forest use without government approval. This helps prevent deforestation and promotes sustainable management of forest resources. Wildlife laws aim to protect endangered species and their habitats. The Wildlife Protection Act regulates hunting and poaching while establishing protected areas like national parks and sanctuaries. Additionally, the Biological Diversity Act focuses on preserving biodiversity and controlling the use of biological resources. These laws play a crucial role in safeguarding ecosystems and promoting biodiversity. Environmental Impact Assessment, EIA, is a process to evaluate the potential effects of a proposed project on the environment. The goal is to prevent or minimize negative impacts, ensuring projects are planned in a way that balances development with environmental protection. This process involves studying how a project might affect air, water, wildlife, and local communities before it begins. EIA is crucial because it identifies environmental, social, and economic impacts before a project starts. By involving public participation, it allows communities to voice concerns and influence project decisions. Ultimately, EIA helps ensure that development projects support sustainable growth while minimizing harm to the environment and public health. The EIA process includes several stages: screening to determine if an EIA is needed, scoping to set the boundaries of the study, and impact assessment to evaluate potential effects. Afterward, mitigation measures are recommended to reduce negative impacts, followed by a public hearing where stakeholders provide feedback. Finally, a decision-making stage determines whether the project will proceed, with ongoing monitoring to ensure compliance. In India, EIA is mandated for certain projects under the Environment Protection Act. The Ministry of Environment, Forest, and Climate Change oversees this process, ensuring projects follow national standards and regulations. This legal framework helps protect ecosystems by ensuring that development projects are environmentally responsible. EIA plays an essential role in protecting the environment by assessing potential impacts before projects start. This promotes sustainable development by ensuring projects are economically viable, socially beneficial, and environmentally sustainable. EIA also encourages transparency, as it involves local communities in decision-making and builds public trust. Thank you for joining this part of our environmental studies series. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more tutorials on other exciting topics.